Captain's log. Stardate 160117. How's everyone doing this week? I'm doing okay. I got to start this one out. Epic shout out. Beer and Song of the Day has logged 4 years today. So as such, it's only right to make them my official sponsor for the day. Go check them out, www.facebook.com/Beer and Song of the Day, all one word, spelled as it sounds. If you can't spell it, well, then you need to go back to school. They are responsible not only for gifting me this, the official Beer and Song of the Day, quote, wicked awesome, unquote, beer consumption apparatus. Good God, he likes the sound of his own voice. But he also gifted me a set of the Philo Liquors created Prosper glasses. Check him out. Also check out Philo Liquors on Facebook. Facebook.com/Philo Abilene. Abilene. For those of you that can't spell Abilene. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it was Beer and Song of the Day's 4th anniversary. I may just have a little bit of a surprise for you later. I don't know about you. I'm thirsty. I need something to drink. Tea. Hot.
No, don't get angry. Don't lose hope. Just because you can't use dope, you can always make a real good case of beer. Cause you know beer is good for you.
Replicator is actually being hot today. The replicator is not being temperamental. Kapla! And happy anniversary to Josh and Beer and Song of the Day.
Beer is good for you.
Now, if I'm paying tribute to Beer and Song of the Day, why aren't I drinking beer? Research time. It's right around the corner. Trying to do everything I can to make sure I am good. And a lot of y'all, most of y'all that watch this understand that. Alright. Birthday greetings for the week to start them out with. A lovely lady I went through a leadership class with back a little over 3 years ago. Brandy Ford. A lovely lady indeed. Brandy, how's it going? How have you been doing? I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing good. Hope you had a happy birthday. And hey, you know what? I drink you, my dear. Next on the list, another wonderful soul I went to school with. Beautiful lady. I actually lost touch with her senior year. Nicole Landrum. I knew her as Nicole McKinney. Hey, Sunshine, how's it going? How you been doing? I hope this finds you well. Hope you're doing good. Hope things are working out for you. Hey, you know what? I drink you. Next on the list, lovely lady. She was actually one of the instructors at that leadership class. The lovely Judy Weston. Now I understand you're living in South Korea. Are your travels gonna bring you my way up to Earth Station Okinawa? Please, my dear, let me know. Hit me up. I hope to find out from you soon. I hope you had a happy birthday. Celebrated well. And a drink. All right, couple more. This is gonna be quick for birthdays. Adrienne Baker. Now, she was a year ahead of me in school. As far as I know, she's no relation to that long-winded schmuck over at Beer and Song of the Day. Just kidding, Josh. Love you. But Adrienne, I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing okay. I hope things are going good for you. And I drink to you. And last but not least, a milestone birthday today. A milestone, a lovely lady, very lovely lady. She actually played the piano at mine and Robin's wedding. The lovely Elma Rigsby. Elma, I hope this finds you well. I hope you're doing okay. I hope things are good for you. And hey, you know what? Happy birthday. Hey, you know what? That was it for the birthdays. All right, now, got to give some love. Actually, no, scratch that. Got to give some love to the Identify This winners this week. First thing I wanted you to identify, I wanted to know the first appearance of this uniform configuration. The first appearance was Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and our friend James Bowden nailed it right on the nose. He hit right on the head. He hit it right on the head with the hammer. Awesome job, James. Well done. Next thing I wanted to know, this one was a stumper. I threw a lot of people off with this one. I got more action from this than I thought I would. That's Will Riker, but yet he's in gold. I wanted to know what episode this was. A lot of people weighed in on this one. I confused the crap out of a lot of people. That was not my intent, but I did get a lot of action on it. And Joseph Ballantyne nailed it right on the head, even after Alexander Phillips and I kind of, dropped some clues. Nailed it right on the head. He said second chances. That is absolutely 100% true and correct episode title. That is it. I'll have more on that later. And I was on an episode kick this weekend. Tried it with my left hand. I wanted to know the episode title. There was only one appearance of Dr. McCoy looking like, two, scratch that. There were two appearances of Dr. McCoy looking like that. The first was artificially induced. The second one happened in the Next Generation pilot, Encounter at Farpoint. Alexander Phillips nailed it. Awesome job. I also got to give some love to Laura Mello for that one. She was feeding me a lot of information on that episode. But I was looking for the title. But you knew what you were talking about on that one, so I got to give you some love. To you four, I give you the Prosper Salute. And I drink. All right, now these next group of greetings I'm going to pair up because involve football, which I will actually talk about here in just a moment. From today's first game, got to give some love to Becky Holmquist and George Seckman. You guys, your Chiefs put up a hell of a fight. They put up a hell of a fight. Unfortunately, they dilly-dallied, and, well, as you know, they're watching the rest of the playoffs at home. But, hey, you know what? It was a good effort. And the next two I got to pair up, Nicole Duncan and Wally Fortier. I know Wally's going to appreciate this. Ah, heck. Throw this one on real quick. I know you two are going to appreciate this. I am a Colts fan first and foremost. That has not changed. That will never change. I will always root for my Colts when they're playing. If the Colts aren't playing, Peyton and Eli after that, unless Peyton then Eli after that, I should say, and any of the other 28 quarterbacks that don't play for the New England Patriots, unless they decide, Tom Brady needs to move on. Then in that case, I just won't root for Tom Brady or the Patriots. It gets confusing. It gets confusing and complicated at that point. But I am a Colts fan first and foremost. However, this week, I'm supporting my number 2 Denver Broncos. I figured you two might appreciate this, as well as the mug. I drink to y'all. Ooh. I'm doing it again, folks. No. Okay, never mind. Okay. All right, let's talk some football. It's that time. This week, divisional round, we only had 4 games this week to talk about. Chiefs cheaters. I picked the cheaters to win. Something was telling me that they might actually legitimately win, or they might cheat their way to victory. This could be their last game at Foxborough this year. Something could go down. It wasn't them, unfortunately. And honestly, if the Chiefs would have won, it wouldn't hurt my feelings one freaking bit. But hey, you know what? The Patriots got revenge for that smashing that they got last year. I'm not going to say well done because screw them. That's why. Packers-Cardinals. I actually have the Cardinals pegged to win this one. The Packers are worthy of going to the bowl, believe it or not, but I just don't think they have it in them. They have honestly lost games that they should have won. Like they lost the last game to Minnesota, costing them the FC North Championship, which meant they could have replayed Minnesota at Green Bay last week. But hey, you know what? Screw it. Who cares? Tomorrow, Steelers-Broncos. The Steelers look like a post-op ward right now. They got 2 of their big ones down, but Big Ben is supposed to play. Now, he is a versatile weapon. That being said, this one could go either way, but I'm not rooting for Pittsburgh. I got Denver pegged to win that one. The Steelers most likely won't have. Well, when I said this, it looked like Big Ben might not play, but the Steelers probably will have the long ball on their side. It's just a plug and play because they've got Antonio Brown out. They got another one of their guys out. But I still got faith in Denver. I think Denver can pull it off. Peyton Manning is looking like he's in Week 1 form. Last year. I think the Broncos are going to do it. I think the Broncos are going to end up hosting the AFC Championship. And finally, Seahawks-Panthers. Now, believe it or not, that yokel over at Beard's Song of the Day, this is the only game we disagree on. He thinks that the Seahawks are going to win it, but I'm calling the Panthers to win it. Honestly, this could very well prove to be Carolina's year. They've only lost one game in the regular season. But then again, they are coming off a bye week, so who knows? And the only team that the Panthers have lost to has been the Falcons, and they're not in the playoffs this year. So hey, Carolina has a very good chance of going. But the thing is about the Seahawks, they have been making plays when it counts. Obviously, they came up to a 1-point lead over the Vikings last week when the Vikings kicker finkled that kick that could have won the game. But hey, you know what? Nothing's perfect. That's all I got for football this week. All right, go back to the way I was. All right, where are we at? Ooh. All right, let's talk this week in Trek. Now, there's a couple on here that I bring up, and that they weren't really key players, but there's a reason I brought them up, and I'll explain that one. The first one, January 12th, 1951, the lovely, the actress Kirstie Alley was born. Now, she played Saavik in Star Trek II, but the reason I bring her up is because that was her first movie role. Star Trek II, her title read, and introducing Kirstie Alley as Saavik. That was her first role. I honestly think she got greedy. She got greedy, which led to her being replaced by Robin Curtis in 3 and 4. But hey, you know what? I ain't worried about that. I am not worried about that at all. Ooh, maybe I should play this first. Okay, now there's a reason I played that, and which will be clear to those of you that don't know. January 13th. Oh, I'm sorry. Kirstie Alley turned 65 this past week. January 13th, 1938, the actor Charlie Brill was born. Now, I bring him up, even though he played the bad guy in The Trouble with Tribbles. If the producers of Star Trek Deep Space Nine had not been able to get a hold of him, they would have went with a much weaker story for their 30th anniversary tribute to the original series. Played Arn Darvin in both episodes. Like I said, Brill was pivotal in the Deep Space Nine anniversary tribute. He turned 78. Actor Barry Jenner played a very vital admiral in Deep Space Nine. He played Admiral William Ross. Turned 75 on January 14th. Also on January 14th, 2009, actor Ricardo Montalban, we know him best as Khan, the real Khan, passed away at the age of 88. And yesterday, in the year 1995, 21 years ago, Star Trek Voyager premiered on UPN with their pilot episode, not the Cage, but the Caretaker. Now, Voyager is the first series since the original to be the flagship of a network. Well, it wasn't even the flagship, but they were the first since the original series to appear on I think even the animated appeared on a network. Okay, they were the third series to appear on a network, but they still had a syndication deal. They were the flagship of UPN, which also launched the same day. Folks, that is all I have for this week in Trek history. I spoke about football, extended all my greetings. Hey, you know what? It's time to talk some Trek. Let's do it. This week's entry, and the children shall lead. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that is. That is the spoiler alert. The following portion of this entry contains spoilers of this episode. Alright. The Enterprise arrives in orbit of the planet Triacus in response to a distress call from the science outpost on that planet. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down and discover all but one member of the expedition dead. Professor Starnes, the team lead, stands up with a phaser drawn. Kirk tries to communicate with him, but Starnes dies before he can say anything. Kirk accesses the last recording from Starnes' tricorder, which is a single message: "We must destroy ourselves." A group of 5 children run into the landing party, seemingly oblivious to the deaths of their parents. After being joined by a burial detail, Kirk plants the Federation flag on the surface as a memorial. The children run off and start playing as Kirk and McCoy discuss the children's mental health. I just got lost. There I am. McCoy discusses the children with diagnoses the children with a form of amnesia pending examination. One of the children, while playing, recklessly knocks over the flag, but apologizes right away before Kirk plants it back into the ground. Kirk calls to the children to beam up with McCoy as he confers with Spock. As Kirk contemplates a mass suicide, Spock believes that it was an induced suicide, as the children are still alive, which would rule out a murder-suicide. Spock's tricorder alerts him, and he begins scanning the area. Kirk and Spock investigate a nearby cave, not reading humanoid life forms. However, Kirk is getting a feeling that Spock can't explain. Suddenly, Kirk darts out of the cave, declaring he will check the professor's tricorder. In the rec room, Nurse Chapel is entertaining the children with ice cream as Kirk and McCoy debate what's happening with the children. Kirk makes the decision to stay in orbit until they solve the mystery. He enters the rec room and decides to join the children, having a small dish of ice cream himself. After talking about the children and their parents, the children start playing yet again. Kirk picks up one of the children, stopping their play, and sends all but Tommy off to their quarters. Kirk talks to Tommy about what happened when he reveals that his parents were always busy. Busy. As Kirk orders a guard posted on the children, they perform a chant together, summoning a being who tells the children they've done well and tells the children the ship is to go to Marcus 12 under their control. As you believe, so shall you do. On the bridge, Uhura relays the security team's report of being all quiet on the planet's surface. Spock brings Starnes' logs to the bridge. Starnes and the adults related a feeling of uneasiness, but the children are enjoying the experience. Weird. Spock plays the final entry detailing the cave as Tommy Starnes comes onto the bridge and disrupts the recording. Tommy asks to be taken to Marcus 12, saying that he has relatives there, but Kirk tells him they're going to Starbase 4 instead. After Kirk and Spock leave the bridge, Tommy walks up to Sulu at the helm and coerces him to plot a new course. After a moment of coercion on Chekhov, Tommy is joined on the bridge by Mary, and both Sulu and Chekhov relate to seeing Triacus on the screen. I need a drink. Uhura turns, smiling at the children, then shouts at Sulu for being out of orbit. Tommy coerces her, and she also sees Triacus. A young boy named Don is in auxiliary control, manipulating the crewmen on duty there. Scotty asks the crewmen why they've broken orbit, Scotty asks the crewmen, who also believe the ship is in orbit, why they've left. As Scotty fights for control, he is subdued by the 2 crewmen on duty. As Kirk, Spock, and McCoy watch more of Professor Starnes' logs, they discover that Starnes was being manipulated. They deduce that the children may be involved in the massacre on the planet. After further discussion, Kirk orders a changing of the guard. However, unaware that the ship has broken orbit, he orders the two new guards transported into space. Kirk activates the monitor screen, calling Sulu, who relates he still sees Triacus on the screen. As Kirk and Spock arrive on the bridge, the children have again summoned the being. The being tells the children to continue doing what they're doing, reminding them to do as they did on Triacus. As Tommy disperses the children, Kirk orders a course for Starbase 4. Tommy causes Sulu to see swords flying through space, in Uhura the face of her death. Kirk orders Spock to contact Starfleet and attempts to take control of the helm from Sulu, who pushes him away. Spock states that the call to Starfleet is unnecessary. Kirk and Tommy continue to push their own plans on Spock, with Tommy winning out. Kirk orders Leslie to take Sulu to his quarters, but Tommy works his magic on Leslie, making Kirk's orders unintelligible to him. Spock manages to break Tommy's hold on Leslie, but not before Tommy can stop Kirk from getting to him. As Spock takes Kirk off the bridge, he feels his fear of losing command and being alone take over. As Spock tries to snap Kirk out of it, Kirk grabs at Spock's throat. But when Spock addresses him, Kirk realizes he still has command. As they enter auxiliary control, Kirk orders Scotty to plot a course for the starbase, to which Scotty refuses. Kirk makes a run at the controls, but Scotty and the other two crewmen in auxiliary control overpower and throw Kirk and Spock out. Kirk and Spock debate the evil that has overpowered the ship as Chekhov comes around the corner with two security officers, intent on placing Kirk and Spock under arrest. As Kirk tries to talk Chekhov down, he draws his phaser, threatening to kill Kirk. Chekhov, believing he's following Starfleet orders, begins shouting at Kirk before Kirk and Spock overpower the three. Spock takes the security team to the brig as Kirk heads for the bridge. Tommy is sitting in the captain's chair as Kirk arrives. He and Kirk argue about the situation as Kirk pulls him out of the chair and Mary to stand next to him. Kirk tries to get the children to call the being back to the ship, but they refuse. As Spock arrives on the bridge, he is instructed to play back the recording. As the three other children arrive, the being appears, as Kirk and the being debate good and evil. Kirk shows the children the pictures from Triacus despite the being's protestations. The children and their parents are all playing and enjoying themselves. They smile at seeing the memories unfolding on the screen. Suddenly, the visual changes to depict their dead parents. The being states the parents wouldn't help him, and they had to be eliminated. As the children see their parents' graves, they start crying. The being attempts to regain control of the children, but is too late. Kirk tells the children not to be afraid of the being, as his real appearance is revealed. As the being disappears, everyone's hallucinations disappears. McCoy arrives as the children huddle around Kirk crying. As Sulu reports Marcus 12 is dead ahead, Kirk orders a course change for Starbase 4. Okay, real quick before we go behind the scenes, Arizona is currently leading Green Bay right now 7-3 with 8:18 to go in the second quarter, and Kansas City lost to New England 27-20. That being said, let us go behind the scenes. Wanted to take a real quick break. And now if the internet, there we go. Let me drink. I'm getting a little warm. I can wait a few minutes. This episode borrows elements and concepts from several sources, including Greek mythology, the Old Testament, and puritanical colonial witchery. It also has a similar plot to the first season episode Charlie X. This one's deep. Anyway, it is never explained how Kirk knew to refer to the friendly angel as Gorgon. Based on early drafts of the script, and in a bit of sloppy editing, episode writer Edward J. Lasco alternated between the various names, explaining why it appeared and stuck so late in the episode. A deleted scene had revealed that Tommy did tell Kirk the name. However, the scene took place in the script after Kirk had used the name. This one really was sloppy. The idea to cast noted attorney Melvin Belli as Gorgon came when his son, Caesar Belli, was cast as Steve. Producer Fred Freeberg hoped that the presence of Belli would boost ratings. This plan failed, and Freeberger realized it would have been more appropriate to cast an actor in the role. No kidding. Brian Tashi is one of a very few actors, along with Phil and Iona Morris in Miri and Clint Howard in The Corbomite Maneuver, who appeared in TOS as a child and was later cast in one of the new series or movies. Toshi and Pamela Ferdin were later reunited on Space Academy, a live-action Saturday morning television series produced by Filmation, which aired on CBS from 1977 to 1979. All 8 major regular performers of the second and third seasons, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Sulu, Uhura, Chapel, and Chekhov, appear in this episode. This episode is the first appearance of the set piece depicting the entrance to the Gorgon's cave. It would be seen again in many third season episodes, including Spock's Brain, The Cloudminders, All Our Yesterdays, and That Which Survives. Don't ask me about that one. The Arboretum set was originally built for Elan of Troyes, but became a deleted scene due to time constraints. It was later modified for the Arboretum that appeared in Is There in Truth No Beauty? The mirror in which Uhura sees her aged reflection at her communication station is never used in any other episode. Of course, like Uhura's reflection, the mirror itself may have been an illusion created by the children. During one scene on the bridge, Kirk tries to give orders to Leslie, but his words are garbled. If the audio for this scene is played in reverse, it can be heard to say, "Remove Lieutenant Uhura and Mr. Spock from the bridge. Confine them to quarters. Do you hear me? Take Mr. Sulu to his quarters. He's relieved of duty. Remove Lieutenant Uhura and Mr. Spock from the bridge. Confine them to quarters." So on and so forth. The attire worn by the children in this episode was designed by William Ware Thies. Original sketches of the playsuits worn by Tommy, Don, and Steve appeared in the original series sketchbook. Image can also be found on Memory Alpha. The dress worn by one of the female members of the Starnes Expedition Party was also created by Thies and was previously worn by Janet Wallace in the Deadly Years. I thought that said something else, including the Wonder Years. In fact, both costumes worn by Wallace can be seen in this episode. One worn by Don Linden's mother, and the other worn by an unnamed woman who commits suicide in the teaser. Professor Starnes and Professor Starnes and the other male colonists wore jumpsuits left over from The Devil in the Dark, which were reused many times during the series. Another female expedition party member wore Martha Layton's costume from The Conscience of the King. This is the only episode of the original series in which we see the fully fledged United Federation of Planets flag. Previous appearances, such as the Menagerie Part 2, simply used the pre-existing United Nations flag. Here we go. I actually agree with Agony Booth on this one. They included this episode on their list of the worst of Trek. They even named And the Children Shall Lead as the worst episode of the original series. They write that the episode has a script that offers virtually nothing. No suspense, no character development, no intriguing sci-fi premises, and not one memorable line of dialogue. The director of this episode, Marvin J. Chomsky, is generally regarded as a skilled TV director. He also helmed the Billionaire Boys Club and several installments of Roots. But there's really nothing he could have done with this script, considering the guy who wrote it, Edward J. Lasko, also went on to write some pretty lousy episodes of Charlie's Angels, The Fall Guy, and Airwolf. Need I say more? I'm going to be honest, I agree with Agony Booth on that one, but that still doesn't change my opinion of them. The reviewer is also harsh on William Shatner's acting, which he sarcastically describes as being renowned and imitated the world over. Describing Kirk's breakdown in the turbolift, he concludes, "There's no denying it. This is 100% grade A pure Shatner here. We now have reached Shatnervana. The Shat goes through his entire range of grotesque, buffoonish facial expressions until Spock finally moves towards him, prompting Kirk to wildly grab him by the throat." Is that all I have? Now, here we go. A couple more. In James Blish's novelization of this episode, Sulu is terrified by the sight of missiles on the view screen, not swords. More interestingly, the children sing spells to cause havoc among the crew rather than making the fist-pumping gesture, which has earned a lot of ridicule among the fans. Gorgon also played a feature role in Greg Cox's Q Continuum trilogy of the Next Generation novels published in 1998. He is part of a powerful gang of interstellar evildoers, which induces the god imposter from Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. which includes the god imposter and the entity from Day of the Dove. Not much is really added to Gorgon's origin and motivations, as Cox is content to emphasize Gorgon's modus operandi of using children to cause chaos, though Gorgon's placement on Triacus is explained. Woo, that was a mouthful. That's what she said. Time to finish this. Yeah. He's dead, Jim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take the time to thank you so much for tuning in to this entry of Prosper. Excuse me, not so much tuning in, but finding it on YouTube or here on Facebook, however you find it and however you watch it. Thank you so much. And please, please, please take a moment to watch Beer and Song of the Day's fourth anniversary episode, which should be coming up here shortly, which I also have a trick up my sleeve, but you'll find out later. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to make like the Enterprise and warp out. Everybody take care. Have an awesome night or day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and if you do, name it after me. Don't drink and drive because you might spill your drink. More importantly, you might kill yourself or someone else. And drinking and driving is dumber than being a Twilight fan. What's worse than that is root for cheating bastards like Tom. Giselle won't let me go to the Pro Bowl, and I need to deflate footballs to get anywhere, and this could really hurt me, and I'm glad I don't write for Agony Booth. Brady, men slapping women, racism, animal abuse, fake friends, people who welch on bets, or anyone who's a member of Agony Booth, ISIS, or the Westboro Baptist Church, who tried to picket Leonard Nimoy's funeral, but couldn't because they couldn't find it. Things like that are highly illogical, and I will not make time for them. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you all next week. Until then, as always, live long and prosper.